Good morning, everybody. This is Dr. Rao. Hope you are having a good day. I was up in the morning and I was listening to one monk from India, and he was talking about what is the highest realization in human life. And I was inspired then to do this talk to really let people know why I give so much importance for the true reality. First of all, what is true reality? True reality for ancient wisdom is really that life force or consciousness that is in everybody, in every living being, and we have to really uh, turn inward and realize that. And first of all, it's not a spiritual goal, but it's like a process of transformation, right? So that's one thing we could always appreciate. Then, if you realize, so what? Then you'll have a real life of peace, wisdom, and joy, right? That's the promise. And then what happens to the daily life when you are imbued with peace, wisdom, and happiness and joy? Your actions will be with love and compassion, and also your well being will be holistic. So that's why I'm very connected with it, right? So many times we feel like what is in front of our senses, what we really appreciate from the senses is the reality. But this is a little bit different. It's beyond senses, beyond your mind. Uh, as a matter of what it is supposed to be omnipresent. It's always present. Our bodies and mind may go, but our life force will transfer somewhere else, right? And our consciousness also. And then it is forever. It is existing forever, eternal, right? And then it is present, not separate from anything else. So it is non-dual, only oneness, right? These are kind of abstract concepts if you make them, but if you see them not as concepts, but something I have to change my mind, I have to change my understanding, I have to change my perceptions so that I can really experience the truth, right? But if your mind is caught up in so many concepts, you will never be able to have the perception of reality, which is right there, right in front of your nose, So, very important to understand how we are limited by our body identification, by our mind identification, or by our ego, by thoughts, emotions, and all that. All these result in mostly suffering, and that's why people wanted to find the peace within, and they could not find peace in anything, and that's why they turned, and then they found the peace which is forever, and then were able to really go with that inner quest, self inquiry, or knowing your own life process, or Atman, or soul, Satori, or Nirvana, whatever names you call it, right? But the important thing is it is connected with our daily life. If you are operating from that, not from your body and mind, then you are operating with contentment, peace, and real joy, and wisdom too. And they kind of come into your daily life in terms of whatever actions you do. you do with love and compassion, because you know you are one with everybody, and you are not going to think of badly about yourself. When you think of badly other people, that's what happens, right? So with that spirit, I thought I would address this question today, and see what is true reality. Is the reality is in front of us, or is it is hidden behind what we see, what we hear, and what we appreciate with our mind and senses? There is a hearing instrument, and you hear, but who is that is hearing? That's the question. The experiencer of the hearing, the experience of the seeing, the experience of touching, all that, that witness in us, that experiencer in us, they had to go through the experience without interpretation by our superficial ego and mind, right? So once you understand that you are that witness consciousness, and once you stay there, then you can see the operations of mind, and you will not be yielding to them with your own reactions, or really suffering from the reactions of pain and pleasure, right? uh, then you will be stable, you will be calm, and your mind is really is not pursued by trivial things. That is where the our wellness health is connected with our with this realization. It is really calming the mind, and then using the mind for our purpose. Okay, so being in that inner sphere of who we are, and without that there is no life. Without that there is no body and mind that is useful. They are inert substance. So that spirit, that inner nature, we can call it God or consciousness or soul, atman, self, whatever name you give, but essentially the true reality is we have a body that is inert, we have a mind that is always moving, and we have something stable, which is our true entity. That is the true witness consciousness, that I call it as the true reality. And that reality, once you settle down in that and you are operating from that, then you really realize the true peace, because there's no movement of mind, and true wisdom, because you realize what is the essence in life, and joy, because you're not being by your desires or lack of desire, whatever it is, that is not there. But then just the ebbing of joy within, just for being a human being, right? So this is not a goal either. This is a long practice of understanding how our identities are. With whatever we identify with our degrees, we identify with our money, our car even, and we identify with our family and our prestige and all that, right? But they are all temporary. The ephemeral nature of things will fall away, and you end up in the permanent real bliss. And that results in a daily life of whatever actions you do, you will have love and compassion, not by making a transactional thing, but by just relating, sharing, giving, and loving, and all that, right? So I think this is very, very important in modern times, because the more and more you see, people are turning away from this, and then inviting a lot of separation, loneliness, suicides, and all that, and also insecurity of the relationships, families, and a lot of things are going on, because people identify by their ego of what they are not really, and also they will get into touch with we are all one, and then operating from that is much more loving and compassionate than if you think I'm different and you are different, I'm going to exploit you, things like that. Okay. We don't have to judge people. We just have to see where is understanding, what are they doing, and then if you can help, or otherwise you just live your life according to these standards, and then measuring up to them itself is very blissful. So uh, very important, if you are uh, in ambivalence, in lack of clarity, in confusion, in limitation, then you could just have a simple life outwardly and turn inwardly and find yourself, and that itself will lead to these things. Okay, that's why it's so important I brought it up. Okay, anybody can come up if you have some thoughts on this. I would welcome to listen to you, and also explain if anything that's not really uh, understandable for you. Okay. Uh, Otherwise, I was fascinated when I found out that ancient wise people were very calm and all loving and compassionate. They taught people without taking any money. They nurtured them. They kind of shared people, everything with the people, just because, not because they want to something, right? They felt sad for the people being suffering with bodies, with mind, and then suppose somebody is having a lot of problems because of overeating, and then he's overeating, and then he doesn't know that he's doing it and it is harmful for you. So that kind of people are treated with love and compassion rather than blame and asking you should be changing and all that. Okay, that kind of all-encompassing loving relationships are not existing these days. Everything is transactional, you know. So that's what fascinated me. Other thing was they were very stable. They were not losing temper. They were not really dishing out things at people. Uh, the story of Buddha, where he was spat on by somebody who didn't agree with him, and Buddha remained very calm. Then the disciples asked him, after that man who insulted Buddha went, how come you did not even respond to him? He was insulting you by spitting on you. And he said, I never accepted that insult, so why should I worry about it? So that means he was totally non-reactive to that, because his overwhelming compassion and love for that person is there, and he forgave him and did not react to that at all. See, that is the stability, that is the love and compassion display you can see when people are realized who they are and stay there. That means they have identified body as theirs, and they are not the body. They don't have identification with the body. But that's our problem, modern problem, right? And they kind of know that they are having thoughts, and thoughts make the so-called mind. So there is no real mind, but there's nothing to identify as a egoic personality. So that kind of kept them very peaceful inside. Simple things, but uh, that means suppose you are in real life egotistical, for example, somebody told you that, and how do you overcome with this knowledge is the ego was built by thought, really not knowing what is true reality. So that means I was ignorant. That's why I went that way. And now I know this is the truth. All that I built up and really causing a lot of problems for me and others, then you will dump it. You will not identify with yourself. And slowly it will recede. You have built it up, yet you have deconstructed it, right? So that is how you transcend ego. So it's a shadow. It's not you. It is your more like a phantom, right? So once you identify that, ego will go down, and without ego, you are all loving, you are accepting, you are really giving affirmation to people about they and you are one in the real spirit. Okay, So that's very important to understand in modern times because we have a lot of problems because of the ego, right? Um, and now, even if you have an ego and then you have some disease started, like a you are given the warning like a cough or fever or whatever, if your ego is working on that, it could imagine a lot of things and it could go build it up rather than it was there. Suppose you are diagnosed with something, and the moment you diagnose, your mind runs and your mind imagines a lot of problems that can happen with that, or what is going to happen to my family, what's going to happen to my job, what is going to happen to my commitments, and all that. That worry kind of influences the disease worsening, right? But on the other hand, if you just take disease as it is, find out what is the reason. Maybe you have an infection. Maybe you have just a passing bronchitis. You take some antibiotics and it will go away. But if you think, oh, I may be having cancer, I may be having COPD, whatever long-term illness, then you are very worried. The fear that secretes the stress hormones worsens the disease, so that the body cannot get out of the disease because your mind is making it worse. This is called psychosomatic illness. We see that with everybody almost, especially healthcare workers, because they imagine, oh, it could be this, it could be that, I may be having this problem, that problem, and all that. So your own mind is making things worse. That's a psychosomatic illness. So you want to really identify that thought, those things that are coming up are only thoughts. They are not reality. The reality is that you have the illness, but you can handle them because you have the knowledge about it, or you are going to somebody who has knowledge about it and then help you with the solution, right? So I hope all this makes sense to you, because it makes a lot of sense to me, because the moment you have free from this delusion of that we are this body or we are this mind, it's very difficult. It's not that easy. It's not a concept. It is actual true reality, but people have to operate with it every day, then only. So that's where the process goes on. Okay, on everyday basis you get up and say, who am I, what am I, where am I? These fundamental questions are called self inquiry. That means if the thoughts come, ask where do these thoughts are coming from, you know, and then you will know the real entity where they are coming from. And because they are coming from one, their thoughts are not you, but just thoughts coming up. Okay, so you attend to them according to the importance, according to the real significance of them, right? If they are not, don't let them linger around and go into your subconscious. Okay, purchase them. That is where the meditation, the emptying of the mind, the silencing of the mind, all that comes up. Okay, so using body properly, using mind properly, using the ego properly, all these help us to really be in wisdom, peace, and happiness and joy. And because we are internally peaceful and joyful and content, we don't have to strive for anything outwardly. And that's why whatever we do, it comes from that abundance, from that love and compassion. That means passion for everybody. Because we know we are one with everybody, we will have that compassion. And then that results into holistic well being. Okay. So, there's a lot to talk about. There are so many areas here you can talk about, but that could be just a conceptual thing. More practical would be examine yourself. What is going on in my life? What is my main purpose? And ancient said that turning your mind inward and identifying your true reality is the highest purpose in human life. Otherwise, you'll be going along with your thoughts wherever they are directing, and you will be not having the peace of mind or contentment and happiness, joy, and all that. So, allot some time every day to sit down and turn your mind inward and find out what's going on there. First, initially, you may be having a lot of thoughts and others, so you want to concentrate them, you want to focus them. So you focus on the breath and make sure the thought is slowed down and you are following each thought to its end and then end it off and dump it, right? And if you learn that, then you will keep your mind very well in this information age of information overload, brain fog, and stress and burnout and so many things. All these things will be helped by just calming your mind on a routine basis in the morning and in the evening. And while you are working, don't allow it to react too easily. Go into your discriminatory higher faculty of uh, discrimination and then operate from there. What is good for me in the long run? What is uh, pleasurable but may not be good for me in the initial gratification, instant gratification. That's the age, right? So there are things happening in modern life like this poor attention, lack of concentration, lack of flow while they are working, multitasking, and absorbing a lot of information that's not really needed for us, but not knowing essential wisdom, and then not able to enjoy things or really participate in life with the guts of. That is all the modern phenomena. Civilizations, right? So many diseases, chronic diseases. Everybody suffering diabetes, hypertension, hypercholesteremia, heart disease, COPD, drug addiction. See, there's a number of things that we are seeing, and people are not having quality of life. Even if you take just enjoying yourself, eating well, and just doing some job and having a family, enjoying the relations, even that is not is threatened lots of times because I see one member of the family gets into a hospital, everybody's life is disrupted. Either they have to take time and come and visit, or they have to really travel a lot or spend their money and all that. That's all they may consider important at the time of illness. But what is happening before you got here? Are you making proactive choices to be well? To not to be victim of the health system itself, right? So all this is comes down to holistic well-being in our body, in our mind, in our spirit. So start with the spirit, that energy, that life force, that spirit, which gives life to your body and mind. That is your true reality. You can only identify that when your superficial rumblings calm down. Then you have in the depth of the sea, you find the silence, you find the invigorating silence, really. And you stay there at least few minutes in the morning by deliberately, and in the evening. The process is sit down, go to the same place every day, same time if possible, and then don't have any distractions around. Sit comfortably either in the chair or on the floor, whatever is comfortable for you. Then close your eyes and focus on the breath and let your attention come to the breath, even if it's going to different thoughts, bring it to nose to the breathing, right? And then after the all that scattering thoughts have come down to a central concentrated thoughts, then slow them down and make them one at a time. Watch them. First make a habit of watching your thoughts as they happen, and then you come to one thought, and that one thought, if it is negative, try to convert it to positive. Okay, it's not an analysis, it's a process. And then after you have come to one thought, to try to go beyond that one thought. That's where you find your true silent self, and you absorb in that and see. That's called samadhi in yoga. Even if you have few minutes of samadhi, true silence in the morning or in the evening, you benefit quite a lot. Okay, but if you allow your thoughts go on all day and then sleep on them with the thoughts, not doing anything about them, and then getting up again, exposing to your phone and thoughts, you're going to be neurotic. That is what's happening in modern era. Okay, that's why this is important to discover your silent self and then stay there. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to you. Simple things. If you kind of think modern living is just indulging in things, indulging in thoughts, really having a blast with whatever living you want, then you see people are paying price in the terms of stressed out, burned out, and not having quality of life, not having even energy into the body, right? Not having clear thinking, being influenced by so many people, crying for nothing and feeling bad for nothing. We are slave to the slave of our slave, our body, our senses, our mind. The mind has senses as slave, and senses have body as slave. And body, we are, once it is out of order, the creaking, the joint pains, the muscle pains, the lack of energy, the problems of disease, the symptoms you have to suffer, and all that, right? So you have to give the body well, then you keep the sense under control, keep the mind understood and knowing mind, and then operate from your true entity, true reality. That's why it's so important, not to forcibly convert anything, but to understand, inquire, and go find out. And from that knowledge, you kind of establish yourself in the true reality and operate from there. Even if you operate a few times a day, that's good enough. But most of the time, people get up and they think, I'm this body, and whatever the happening thoughts, they're happening on their own. So whatever information comes, I will let it in, and then influence my physiology and psychology and reactions and all that, and then cry, oh, my life is so difficult here. We made modern life like that. Okay, but if you understand the true meaning of life and true purpose of life, true reality of life, everything changes. Then life is wonderful, life is beautiful, life is about sharing, about loving, about giving, and really having this peaceful, wise mind that is quiet and that is having ebbing of joy with from within. Then you really appreciate being a human being is itself is a blessing, and having these instruments is a blessing, and having this wisdom from the ancient is a blessing, and incorporate that into the modern life. Then you are not living in the past, and you are not just saying what they said, but you are actually transforming yourself from inside out. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense to you. Anybody who wants to come up and say anything about anything I said, is it understandable? Or Joe, Craig, Cecilia, Karen, Melissa, Janet, Lisa, so many people are here. Wonderful. Ronald, yeah, somebody's coming up. Craig, okay. Hi, Craig.
Good morning, Doc. How are you today, sir?
I am great. How are you?
I'm hanging in there.
Yeah, good. So, what do you think? What I was saying?
True reality.
Yeah.
True reality is what I'm in right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was rough this morning for me to get up. I woke up in pain, so
Mm,
I had 4 teeth extracted on Thursday,
mm,
and I still got out and walked.
Mm.
Thursday afternoon, and then Friday I got out and walked.
Okay.
Today I'm out walking, so
Mm. So how is the pain controlled? Are taking medications or?
I actually take a Vicodin
Mm.
because I cannot. It just takes the edge off, and
Okay.
if I decide I'm not going to drive that day, then I
Mm.
don't drive. I go ahead and take one.
Yeah.
Uh, I have a prescription.
Mm.
I'm very good with my prescription.
Mm.
Uh, I don't take it unless I absolutely need it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. Yeah.
And it's I've always been like that.
Mm.
Uh, I've had a prescription for Vicodin for many years, and
Yeah.
I just watch what I do.
So
And
you
if I
must
don't,
have
if I
a
don't take,
high threshold, Craig, right? High threshold of pain.
pardon me.
You must be having a high threshold of pain. You can tolerate more pain, right?
As I get older, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you don't take it unless you need it. You kind of,
No,
yeah, kept that
no,
capacity to tolerate pain. Yeah. Very good.
no. I don't just pop a pill in my mouth.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
pop vitamins in my mouth
Yeah.
every morning, and I have my medication for
Mm.
my AFib and my COPD.
Mm.
So those I have to take every day.
Yeah. See, what I'm talking about is true reality, and the pain is if you know that you are not just the body and the mind, and you establish yourself in the true reality, then you can also watch the pain coming and going too.
Right. And right now the
Yeah.
pain's gone.
Yeah.
The
Mhm.
pain is absolutely gone.
Mhm.
So I probably won't take another pain pill.
Yeah, very good.
And I will have to see how I feel in the morning. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. But a lot of people imagine a lot of things about pain and they have more pain. you know so if you are taking it as it is happening to you like outside of your reality, then you can accept it better you know this is very good. What Craig said, that he doesn't take pain medications unless he really needs it. That means he's not popping up the pain right away, and he's allowing his pain threshold to increase. That means capacity to take more pain really gives you more capacity to not to suffer from the pain but also bear with it, right? And then that too I saw cultural phenomena. When I came from India, we would not give pain pills like they are giving to here. So I wanted to study that. Why is that so? Because first of all, pain medications were not that easily available in India at that time. It was 70s when I came here, right? And then it became more of wisdom from the ancient times that you don't cry for every small pain. You just push on and go and overcome that. That helped them to take a lot of pain, and then they were able to not to take anything. But then, as the modern medicine has spread, people became to take more pain medications. And my own mom, she cannot tolerate even small pain. She used to pop up aspirin or something there. Fortunately, she was somebody who was doing a lot of work around the house, and she kept herself very good physically. That's why she didn't have to go to the hospital or anything for lots of things. So she was developing this pain threshold without her knowing. But whereas here, pain, even now, it is made like another vital sign, the fifth vital sign, and the nurses are trained to give pain medication right away because they have PRN medication, the patient is demanding and all that. They don't realize they are really enhancing this threshold that otherwise patient would develop, right? So one extreme example I will give is Ramana Maharshi. He had sarcoma of the elbow, on the elbow, right? And sarcoma is pretty invasive tumor. It's basically about blood vessels and going into the tissue very, very deep, and it's a very, very, very painful condition. Even with that condition, because he's always dissociated with his mind and the body, he was in his true reality all the time. That is not possible for everybody. I'm just giving an example. And he would not take any general anesthesia for the surgery. When the army surgeon came, he has seen a lot of injuries and all that, but he never saw anybody like Ramana Maharshi who kind of bore all that pain with the local anesthesia. They operated on him, and he said that must be very painful. But he dissociated from his mind so completely he doesn't even feel that. So that's something of note. But that is there. The psychosomatic medicine, the more we engage our mind with the pain, the worse it gets. So don't engage with your mind, take it as it is, and then if you can tolerate as much as tolerate, then you'll develop pain threshold for the future and for the whatever the treatment that's going on. And without much medication, you don't have the side effects of that medication or interaction with other medication. So take medication as needed, but identify when you are overdoing it, when it is given too much, or when they are trying to pamper you, or say you should not have so much pain, that kind of thing. Okay. So that's a good point Craig brought up. So I also try to explain to you in terms of what is true reality, how it is related to disease or the pain which happens with the truth expression is very painful, and then after that healing, all that should happen. So you take medications, but minimize as much as possible. That's what I'm saying. Anybody else? I wonder, I would like to know if everybody understood what is the reality I'm defining or ancients define, not me, and why they said that is our purpose in life. That's the most important thing in life. So there was four ways of living they talked about. People do work or engage in professions to make money, to make our worldly lot more, and that's they call artha, the earning, right? All that. And then people want desires to be fulfilled, simple or complex, whatever. That they call karma, right? And both these have to be done in the right way. That's why it's called dharma. Dharma means the righteous living, for earning or for desires, right? These three ways people can pursue. But the thing is, however much you do, they are not completely fulfilling. After you have earned something, they lose the luster. After you have so many pleasures, they lose the luster. But you don't have a forever fulfillment. That is the one they are pointing out that will happen when you really transcend your own mind. That they call moksha. That means your own chattering mind, your own mind directing you to go that way, this way. That will control not by force but by understanding. By transcend that, that is they call liberation or freedom, and that is the moksha they talked about. And there are other meanings of that too. But then that's the four ways. Either you're righteous living, and then in a way you earn money, or you earn accumulations, or you are going only to have some experiences outwardly, travel, eat, and pleasures of all that, music, everything. They're not bad or anything, just that they are not going to be forever fulfilled. And then what they're happening, people are turning to other addictions to fulfill their own inner emptiness or need, right? And that's the modern problem. We get addicted. Most addiction is to the thought, to all the thoughts that are going on. We think we are great, we think we are moral, those are our thoughts, and we get addicted to that, right? So that's also is not going to last forever because people will lose their mind and all. So they just observe as people are living. They are either working hard to make money, or working to fulfill some desires and all that, and then they roll in that. Even the food also, they made it a pleasurable thing, and then their consequences. We can see the obesity, anorexia, and all that. Okay, so I can see the truth that these ways we do, going and doing stuff, and going and trying to experience our pleasures, our desires, and all that, they all are not really, in the end, what the true reality gives, like a peace, happiness, and wisdom, right? So once they are there in us, then you won't be led by any propaganda, any advertisement. You can be by yourself, and independent, and then be loving, be caring, be sharing and giving, and all that. That can happen. Okay. So somebody sent me a message. Yeah, Melissa put in a question. You are talking about transcending our thinking. Is it like reaching a harmony state? Yeah, you are operating from the harmony of your being, where your harmony says you identify that you are one with everything, and everything is in you, you are in everything, that kind of thing. It's difficult to people to understand, but even the modern physics have come to this conclusion that there is only one energy. Suppose you think you are separate from somebody else, that is the dual nature, then the two opponents who have opposing views and all that. But when you may have different thinking, but you and the other person is in the same energy, then you have harmony at that time. In Sanskrit, both may ekta. That is, when it comes to the being, we are all one. That life force, that conscious being, whatever that we describe it, self, or it could be just an entity and all that, right? That spiritual energy, that's not very mechanical or material. It is energy that imbibes in us and gives us the life. So when you are in that, you are harmonious with everything else, you know. But to be there, the problems are we think we are the body and we are the mind, and we don't go beyond the thoughts. The thoughts come up in different ways and then make us feel like we are not in union, we are not in harmony, right? The harmony happens within, and also harmony happens with outward things, outward people, and all that. So suppose somebody comes here and then they have a completely opposite view, like only materialistic life, only I want to enjoy my life and all that. Fine, but they will find later what is disharmonious in that and what are the consequences from that. So, yeah, definitely harmony. Harmony with everything, harmony within yourself, with your body, mind, and all that. Definitely. That's a nice question. So, that's what I want to say for today. And hopefully, you are able to get something out of it. And if you have any questions, just DM me or come up and ask. So I think people are happy with what they heard, or may not be happy. I don't know. So I will see you again when I can. Bye.